This quiet setting was actually a hell on earth in August 1944. What you are looking at is the escape path of the Germans out of the Falaise Pocket. This is part of the corridor of death. I'm currently outside Chambois. It's at Moissy, just down the road, not very far. A few minutes drive from the keep and the memorials. So this is one of the natural fords across the river. So all along this road here, all the way up here, all kinds of mess. Here's a map showing the situation in the Falaise Pocket on the morning of August 20th, 1944. Broadly speaking, British troops are coming in from the west, French and US troops are coming in from the south, Canadians moved in a southeasterly direction towards Falaise and Turn, while Poles are on the extreme of the flank, trying to close the last little bits of the gap and hold off German counterattacks to keep it open. The arrow indicates where the Moissy Ford is in relation to both Chambois and the other fighting going on in the area at the time. So here you can see the ford. It's not a major river in terms of width, right? It's fairly narrow, fairly shallow. I mean, you can walk across it no problem, get your feet wet. Horses and all that can get across. However, as you can sort of see here, is the banks are very high. Very, very high. You can see it continuing up over there. So that makes it a natural anti-tank obstacle, right? Tank can't get down and back up. Also, it's a bottleneck, right? So all the armor, all the vehicles, or what's left of them, have to get across places like this. Like this is Moissy, it's one of the best known ones. And that whole highway of death thing with the photos and the stories and all that. So I think this gives you a good sense of why that is. As you can see, just looking back at this little stream here, how high the banks are. Right, and they were like that at the time. So it's not exactly a daunting river if, say, no one's shooting at you. But if you're being strafed and rocketed and artillery fires coming in on you from all directions, this is quite the barrier, and then that explains why you see the photos of all the destruction through here. Right up this way is where the Germans are coming in. And eventually this place just becomes clogged. Nowhere to go, nowhere to ford. Vehicles are abandoned. Orders are given to get across whatever way you need to. Because the constant air attacks, artillery, is really making this place a hell on earth. There's just nowhere for them to go. We're walking towards where they're coming from, back that way. Where the car is the deed itself. So these whole fields are just full of dead horses, destroyed vehicles, dead German soldiers. There's nowhere else for them to go at this point, especially this late in the fighting and towards the end of August. They're really being forced back from this direction, right? The Americans, Brits, and the French have come over this high ground. Nowhere to go. So they're all trying to get to this point on this side, or to Saint Lambert, which is way over on the other side. And that's the famous site of David Curry being awarded the VC for his actions there. But yeah, this is one of those narrow paths that the Germans were left with in their desperation to get out of Normandy. Those who didn't want to die surrendered. And there was a lot of them. There's been much debate about, them getting out early and whose fault is that, and was it a missed opportunity or a flawed victory or whatever you want to call it. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. 3 German armies are destroyed, right? Units are completely wiped out, have to be reconstituted with whole new unit, whole new leadership, all that stuff. Equipment is destroyed, which is a big one, right? Germans can't replace the equipment losses, they can't replace the human resource losses. So Normandy, especially during this Falaise Gap period, is just devastating for Germany. Yes, the events in the east, obviously at this time, are playing a huge role in that as well. And then you have things like the offensive with the Bulge, and even further south to that later on in Alsace-Lorraine. But those are last gasps. Those are pieced together, poorly planned, poorly executed, overwhelmed things that only really pushed the Allied war effort back a month. Right? The Allies aren't just going to go headlong into suicidal attacks, because the Germans will defend suicidally. So that's why this thing doesn't just come to an end. Normandy really breaks the back of Germany, and it's places like here at Moissy where that happens. Just kind of one final thought before I move on from Moissy. This is a beautiful spot. I mean, it's like some shire. It's just so nice, but to know what happened here kind of takes that away a little bit. The amount of death and destruction. It's a very picturesque little corner of Normandy. It's even got a nice little bridge to walk across, so I mean, it's quite the spot to come and see. Also, can't forget what happened here.